There it goes. Hey, what is up, everyone out there? I see our super member Joe Drag out there, Alpha Flying Rich, and a few others. This is Fireside Chats with John Crump. I am the Virginia State Director for Your Gun Owners of America, Washington's only no compromise gun lobby. I'm also an investigative journalist concentrating on the 2A space. I keep an eye on the ATF, the FBI, and other agencies that want to violate your rights. I have a Patreon, patreon.com/John Crump. And we are brought to you by Tusk. Tusk is the only gun-friendly cryptocurrency on the market.
Proudly sponsored by TUSC, the only cryptocurrency designed with the firearms market in mind, with 3-second processing times. It's the fastest cryptocurrency on the planet. With lower transaction fees than traditional credit cards. It's perfect for your e-commerce needs. For gun guys, by gun guys. Visit TUSC.network for more information and join the digital revolution.
And we are also sponsored by Black Swan Tactical, the home of the only place where you can get YouTube creator shoes at. Yes, Gorillas and Guns have his own shoe line now.
Black Swan Tactical, your #1 source for 2A streetwear. With shirts, mugs, hats, patches, flags, and more. There's always something to help you rep the 2A community. All proceeds go back into our projects. Viewers and listeners can take an additional 10% off with code CRUMPY. Unapologetically pro-gun, pro-liberty, and pro-freedom gear for the front lines of the culture war.
And speaking of culture wars, there is a creator, very, very awesome creator who does some really awesome content. His channel is down below. And with that, I'm going to bring him on because cancel culture has kind of hit him. The YouTube demonetization bug has affected his channel, and his name is Fit and Fire. I don't know if you want to go by Fit and Fire or what you want to go by.
Oh, you can call me Mark or,
Mark.
Sally, whatever it doesn't matter to me.
All right, Mark.
How you doing? I appreciate you having me on, John.
Yeah. Thanks so much for coming on. So, you are a YouTube creator. Let's get into your channel a little bit before we get into what happened to you. What is your channel about?
So, Fit and Fire is a YouTube channel that was devised to kind of bring forth my two passions, not only in firearms and self-defense, personal protection, the love for the Second Amendment, but also the concept of living a healthy lifestyle. I try to get to the gym just about every single day, and I want to make sure that people understand that while it is our God-given right to defend ourselves, we have to be ready to be able to defend ourselves. And while firearms are a great way to do that, fitness is another great way as well. So that's kind of the Cliff Notes version of what my channel's trying to be about.
All right. So Clover Tech says you weren't hit by cancel culture. What exactly happened then?
Yeah, so Clovertech and I had a really great conversation last night. We spent about 2 hours on the phone, and I learned a lot from him in our conversation. So my channel has been demonetized. So basically what that means is I am unable to make any type of ad revenue from the videos that I post. So I'm still able to post, I'm still able to do live streams. I just can't make any money from those videos. Now, the very interesting aspect of that is the argument of whether or not that affects your visibility on YouTube. So there's some individuals that believe that monetization doesn't have anything to do with your video showing up in search results and stuff like that. And to a lesser point, that's correct. But if YouTube isn't making money through ad revenue on a video, it is less likely to recommend that video. So I have hard data that shows that anytime that my videos are not monetized or are limited monetization. So for us content creators, we either get a green circle with a dollar bill in it saying that you're fully monetized, or you get a yellow circle with a dollar sign in it. Those are the two different icons on our videos. If you get a green one, you're fully monetized. You're going to get hit into the algorithm, providing that your tags are good, your thumbnail looks good, your titles and everything. If all of that is matching up, then it will be at its peak performance, hitting the algorithm, getting recommended, and so on and so forth. If you're limited, you're not going to get as much recommendation and put into people's feeds as much. I have, through looking at my videos, I have proof that that works just in some of the videos that I've put out here in the last 4 to 8 weeks. Videos who are on limited monetization gets very little traffic, and the videos that I have full monetization on gets a ton more traffic. So that is the whole point of this issue with my channel being demonetized. In my opinion, and it's just my opinion, I firmly believe that this is a way for people who are not happy about how things are being presented. This gives them an opportunity to kind of silence people's voices, or at least suppress them in a certain way. And that's kind of the argument that's going on right now: is it really or is it not?
Yeah, so you do think it's cancel culture and CloverTech doesn't. Is that what I'm getting? Or am I just
I
misreading that a little bit?
I think I don't necessarily I don't think it is full on cancel culture, but I do believe that it is a way to hold back certain certain content, right? Now, in the discussion that I had with CloverTech, one of the things that was brought up was the concept of putting links into your descriptions and stuff like that. In YouTube's policies, there is. Go ahead.
Did you put it like gun links in there, or
No. See, that's the thing. The only links that I have ever put into my YouTube channel to include my videos prior to May of 2019, because that was the first time that my channel had been demonetized. This is actually the second time that it's happened. So in both instances, I had been demonetized, and everybody's like, "Oh, well, you've been putting links into your YouTube videos," and I was like, "Okay, yeah." So I put links to Amazon. What's wrong with putting links to Amazon? Everybody puts links to Amazon in. Well, your link goes to a red dot for a pistol or for a rifle. So I mean that it's on Amazon, so it shouldn't matter. That should not be affected by it, because it's a common place, right?
yeah, but I've gotten ads for red dots from Walmart on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. And the interesting thing too is my last video that I just published, which was a review of the IWI Masada, had been monetized.
Great pistol, by the way.
It is. It's a different pistol, and that's kind of what of my take on it.
I like it because it's different. But
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. The interesting thing is that video was fully monetized with the links in it. So if I'm getting manually reviewed by a human, because any video that I post any video that I upload, rather, the moment that I upload it, it's automatically limited, which means that I'm not going to make any money off of it. And so that started after my first run in with YouTube and being demonetized. After May, and when I requested to be put back onto monetization, they granted it to me. And I didn't change anything. That's the irony. Was I was demonetized? I didn't change anything. I requested to be remonetized, and I was. Since then, every upload that I have put onto Amazon automatically gets limited ads, and I have to manually review it. And that causes two separate problems. Number one is with how YouTube is working currently with their new dashboard, you get the opportunity as a creator to self-assess your videos. So if you have gun content, then you drop down the drop down box, and it says, do you have gun content? Yes. Is it at a safe environment, at a range? And I always click on that. Well, after talking with CloverTac on the phone last night, it turns out that anytime that you upload a video and it automatically, or it's goes into limited, that's a ding against your channel. And if it continues to happen, then it's going to raise a red flag to, the YouTube bots to say, hey, we need to look at this channel because everything that they're posting is not monetization. It can't be monetized. And that is what I saw with my channel after the first time I had this run in. Was after then, every video was getting limited ads until I manually requested it, and then it would be approved about 60% of the time. So
Well,
I'm kind of
can I ask you a question?
sure, yeah.
One of the big issues is the majority of views come within the first 24 hours.
Correct. And so if my videos are limited, those views are relegated to a few hundred. Whereas if, and I'm still a relatively small channel, still under 30,000 subscribers. So within the first 24 hours, I'm supposed to be hitting anywhere between 1,000 to 2,000 views. And I'm routinely getting 400 to 600 views on videos that do not get full monetization. Now, one point that I need to make evidently clear is that the monetization of my channel has nothing to do about money. Has nothing to do about that at all. I am not concerned about making the $200, $300, $400 a month that I'm making off of YouTube. That has nothing. I'm not getting rich off of YouTube by no means. I'm more concerned about the algorithm getting into people's recommendation feed, spreading my message, and creating a inclusive environment for people to come and learn about firearms. That's what I'm most concerned about. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm standing at right now. I'm kind of, with my channel, I'm kind of stuck in this loop where I'm getting gigged for my channel being monetized, but at the same time, from my perspective, they're automatically hamstringing me with all my uploads being set to limited ads the moment that I upload it. So I'm kind of scratching my head as to what to do. I've had conversations yesterday and today about it, who have said that, well, maybe you set up a backup channel and you start kind of building that. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea, but it's also starting over.
I've done that.
Yeah.
I have another channel that was demonetized and another channel that was like totally killed. The channel that was totally killed was because of sharing YouTube
Mhm.
trade secrets, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like killed me that. That was like my tech channel. That's where I actually had a bunch of followers. So I didn't really do gun stuff on there. I did mostly tech. My other channel was that I had for my gun stuff, which is it's a channel in addition to this. If you go to John Crump News / news, that one was demonetized for dangerous content.
Mhm.
which basically I don't own Shoguns on that channel besides the ones behind me. It's just talking about stuff going on in the Second Amendment community, laws and stuff like that.
Right.
And that was and YouTube refused to remonetize it.
So I'm trying to find the specific email that okay, so the specific email states that my content, let me get to my sent, because I sent this over to CloverTax so that he could get a better idea of what's going on. But the specific feedback that I received was that my content is harmful content that shows the creation, modification, or sale of firearms that may result in injury to others. This includes links to offsite sales, and their links to offsite sales is direct firearm sales, which none of that is accurate. I have not shown the modification. I have not shown the creation, or I do not link to offsite sales like for example Brownells or Palmetto State Armory, or insert manufacturer. I don't do that. So CloverTac, he's making some great comments in the chat room. He says that monetization is important for smaller channels. He says we've got to be honest about this at some point. Small creators, which Mark still is, yep, needs whatever little revenue there is to grow. This crap isn't free, and he's true. I mean, that is true. I mean, the little bit of money that I do make from Amazon or from YouTube is extremely helpful. The $300 that I make, give or take, goes directly into supporting the channel as far as purchasing firearms to review, or buying ammunition, or getting targets, purchasing or buying training. A great example is here in just a few weeks, I'm going to be training with Chris Costa, and I paid for that class. I'm not getting that class for free like some YouTubers get. And, realistically, that was, let's see, it's a carbine course. It's a 3-day carbine course. And that's like, I think the course was $600. Is that right? $800, something to that effect. So, CloverTech is correct. The little revenue does help us in growing. So that's a great point.
Yeah, luckily I don't really depend. This is what I do as a hobby. Most of the stuff I do is writing, and I mean, I really feel for creators that have to that count on the money because they have to play within the rules, and the rules aren't clear.
Yes, that is a great point, and that's another point that CloverTech made in the chat, as well as our phone conversation last night. Is proper enforcement of policy is a huge issue on the platform right now, and that's 100%. I got a phone call from another creator earlier today, and he gave me his advice as to why he thinks I got demonetized, and I was like, maybe that is right. I don't know if it is, but if I can't do it, then why is such and such doing it? Because he does it on his channel all the time. And CloverTech and I talked last night, and he's like, yeah, I mean, that's we can fight that fight, but it's a losing fight. They gigged you, they saw something, and it doesn't matter at this point. They got you, and that's the end of it. We've got to figure out a way to get you back. So.
Yeah, I mean that is one of the things that I've heard, that it's like a double standard. The bigger you get, the more leeway you get, and once you get to like mainstream media, I mean, they get all the leeway in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the frustrating parts right now is it's almost like you've seen, a lot of people have probably seen the meme about IRS and paying your taxes, and the IRS says, hey, you need to pay your taxes, and the Johnny Q public is like, okay, how much do I owe? And the IRS is like, well, you've got to figure that out. Okay, well, don't you know? And the IRS is like, yeah, we know, but we're not going to tell you. You have to figure that out. And it's like, okay, well, what happens if I get it wrong? Oh, we throw you in jail. That's the same thing with this situation. Is they're telling me that I'm producing harmful content, and all you have to do is make some changes to your content, and then you'll be allowed to reinstate your monetization after 30 days. Well, my question is, what is it? What am I doing wrong? There's no one for me to reach out to. I can't call a representative at YouTube for them to give me any direction as to how to improve my content to not only be worthwhile to my subscribers and people who are interested in the subject that I'm talking about, but also, help YouTube make money in it as well. I mean, because at the bottom at the end of the day, that's what YouTube's all about, is making money. They could care less about creators making content at this point. Maybe 10 years ago they were, but now they don't care about that. They care about making money and allowing the content creators to get kickbacks from that money that they do make. So I'm trying to figure out a delicate balance, but I have no one to talk to. Luckily enough for me, I have been blessed to be a part of Leviathan Group. And I talked to my representative earlier this morning, and he is going to be reaching out to their YouTube contact to take a look at my particular situation to find out exactly what is wrong and to see if there's some way to correct it. But as it stands right now, nothing can change for at least 30 days. So
Yeah, Clover Tech points out that if it can happen to you, it can happen to anyone. Before we did this interview and last night, I scrubbed through your channel to find anything that I could think that would have done it, and I couldn't find anything.
yeah, so DJ, Leviathan does rep me.
That's a new thing. I take it.
Yeah, it is fairly new. New is about it was last year. Last year I started in. It was about May. I finally got stood up, and I have been kind of in the shadows with Leviathan Group. I haven't leaned on them too much. But as it stands now, in talking with my representative from Leviathan Group, I will be leaning on them pretty hard because they're a great resource for creators like myself to get. A great example is Walther. They just came out with their new pistol, the PDP. And if you've been watching anything on Instagram or Facebook or even YouTube, there are reviews dropping all over the place about this pistol. And a lot of those creators are Leviathan Group members. Leviathan Group got, a couple of those. They get them sent out to influencers to take a look at and review. And that's a great way for someone to have some support to the channel like myself. So I'm not having to go out and buy $600 worth, $800 worth of, firearm and ammunition to put out a review for you. I have a intermediary to help me get that product in my hands. I do a review and then I send it back and allow them to, get decent content from people who are doing the best they can to provide excellent content. So the Mike is saying links. I mean, that's really what it probably boils down to. At the end of the day, if I'm being 100% honest, and Clover Tech was, he said, last night talking on the phone with him, he says, don't kill the messenger. But if he was a betting man, the Amazon links is what got me shut down, which I think is absolutely ridiculous.
Which makes no sense to me, but
yeah.
Here's another question. Do you think it's the dumb machine learning that's doing it, the AI, the bots, the crawlers that crawl content doing it, or do you think it was an actual person?
Well, I don't know. That's the part that really bothers me so much about it, is I'm not 100% sure, because Could it be the bots? Absolutely, because I've been popped once before. And then since I got my monetization back in 2019, as I mentioned, all of my content has been limited and needs to be manually reviewed, which in this new self-assessment situation already gigs me. So even if I get my monetization back here in 30 days, if it continues to do the exact same thing that it had been before, then I'm going to get demonetized again, within a year, maybe 2 years, who knows? Unless I can have a conversation with someone from YouTube saying, what is the problem? How can I fix it? And can you do something to help fix my channel? But the other piece to it, on the opposite coin, it could have been, a person doing it, because two interesting things happened. Number one is the AdSense money. So the money that I made from YouTube, I had just gotten paid just a couple of days ago. And then Monday, I had a live chat with Clayco, who runs his YouTube channel. His channel is Clayco47, and he's a big AK guy and a really, really cool dude. And in that live chat, we talked about an event that he puts on down in Southern Texas called Kalash Bash. I almost spaced it out. It's called Kalash Bash, and it's down in Southern Texas near just outside of Houston. I think about an hour northwest of Houston.
Yeah, one of my friend's sponsors is a big sponsor of Clash Bash.
All right, right on.
X-Tech Tactical.
Yeah.
Jeremy, who's like the president of X-Tech, is a really good friend. He's a very close friend of mine.
Right on. That's super cool. Well,
they have something neat coming out that I can't really say.
Okay.
I got an NDA, but
yeah.
It's going to be revolutionary.
That's awesome. So I've been actually guilt tripped into the fact that I haven't been to Clash Bash yet, but this year is the year. I will be heading down there this year. So
I'll be there.
Cool. Well, I'll buy you a beer. How about that?
I don't drink, but that's fine. You can buy me a Coke.
I'll buy you whatever you want.
Yeah, I'm a recovering alcoholic.
Okay.
No, I'm not actually.
I mean, I'm a recovering alcoholic. Every single. I'm actually trying to rehydrate after last night. So
no, I'm not. No, I'm not an alcoholic. I'm joking about that.
Well, so back to my original point. Maybe someone got upset about talking about Clash Bash or talking about AKs or who knows, because it happened less than 48 hours from having my last live chat. That's the only thing I could think of. So it's either the bots who are saying, hey, this guy's content is getting limited ads on everything that he's posting up and has to be manually reviewed, something's wrong, or someone didn't like the content that I was putting out and I got pulled into some type of flagging campaign or something. I don't know how that works, but yeah.
Clovertac states that we can all go into conspiracy theories, but usually the simplest answer is correct.
Yep.
I used to work in Silicon Valley, so I know a lot, and he's right. 99.9% of this stuff is bots. Now, getting it fixed, the people that actually look at it, that's when that the hand wrangling behind the scenes goes on. But usually it's a bot that flags you, but it's also kind of it's kind of the thing that the amount of time it takes to get fixed, it depends on the person you actually get, and sometimes they do let their political side get involved. Sure.
Yeah. So the last time I was demonetized and then was able to get my monetization back, I reapplied, and this is the funniest thing. The response I got from YouTube after I requested to get monetization returned was, you should have monetization after approval, your monetization should kick back in about 2 weeks. And I'm like, about 2 weeks? That seems so arbitrary. It's just like some like, yeah, couple weeks, whatever. But so I found that automated email that I got from them a little unprofessional. But within 48 hours, my monetization was turned back on. So I'm like, but, and I didn't change anything. That was the whole thing. That was what blows my mind. So
for some reason, I looked at my screen. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so red. Then apparently I hit the color intensity all the way up to 100.
I did see a little switch over there. That was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
so I have no idea how that happened, but I was like, sorry. Go ahead. What were you
Oh
saying?
no, that's just, I'm at this
I get
point
it.
I'm just kind of repeating the same things over and
Yeah,
over again.
I get easily distracted by
Oh, me
shiny
too.
objects.
Me too.
Let me ask you this. Getting off the whole monetization thing, I think we kind of killed that and explained that pretty well.
Sure.
How'd you get involved with the Leviathan group?
That's very interesting that you brought that up. So I had known a representative from Leviathan Group when he worked with another organization, and just kind of had been friends with him for a little bit of time, and hadn't really thought about Leviathan Group. We kind of kicked it around a little bit, but hadn't really um, pulled the trigger on it um, until last January at SHOT Show. I was hanging out with a good buddy of mine, Curtis from VSO Gun Channel, and he's like, "Hey, come on over here. I want you to meet somebody." And that somebody was one of the managers from Leviathan Group, and we just started chit chatting. And the next thing I know, I had an email from them saying, "We would really like for you to be a part of the tribe." And I was like, "No, great, yeah, let's do it." Which was interesting because here I am talking to Steven, which is one of the managers, to my right, and to my left is Chuck Liddell. And I'm like, "That's Chuck Liddell. Holy cow."
This is really interesting because in less than a week, you're the second guest that brought up meeting Chuck Liddell.
Yeah. I
Which
mean,
is, and I've been doing this show for like 2 years. No one's brought up Chuck Liddell. Now, within 3 episodes, 2 people meet Chuck Liddell.
yeah. And man, I'm trying to think. There was another MMA fighter that I'd seen walking down the aisle about 20 minutes before that, not a part of it, and I can't think of his name.
Tim Kennedy.
No, it was not Tim Kennedy.
Yeah,
Not a
Tim's cool.
fan.
You're not a fan of Tim?
I'm not a fan.
He's a cool guy, and I
I'm
don't
sure
know.
he is. Yeah.
Personally, he's a cool guy. I'm not talking about his gun stuff. I'm just saying he's a cool guy. He can have disagreements.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of his political ideology. So, for a 2A guy, from a 2A guy to a 2A guy, I don't agree with his viewpoint of of Second Amendment. So that's just
Yeah, I talked to him about it. I'm not saying that this is. I'm sorry, fix my camera. I'm not saying that this is right or not, but he was saying that his comments were taken out of context.
No, I don't think it was, because John Patton confronted him at NRAM in 2018, and they had a discussion on the floor with Johnny B filming it.
I'm just telling what he said. To me.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, has he changed his perspective? Maybe. I don't know. I just don't. I don't put any. I don't pay any attention to him at this point. The other thing too was one of the other things I saw about it was he was talking about the FN-57 pistol, and he was making comments like, "Well, this will shoot through a car," and I'm like, "No, it won't shoot through a car. That is the dumbest thing I've heard, coming from a influencer who is special forces dude who's part of the gun community, should know that unless you're shooting through a door, passing over the front two seats and through another door, yeah, maybe a 9mm can do that too. But if you're talking about trying to shoot through an engine block or a trunk, it's not going through. So I've got opinions, and maybe they're not based in reality, but it is what it is right now. So
Yeah. I can see how that is.
yeah.
But it's like one of those things where there's going to be disagreements,
Sure.
and as the 2A community, we have to move forward. I'm with the whole thing about like gun rights and stuff. I'm kind of way over to one side.
Oh yeah, me too. I'm, and it's interesting because I had a conversation with my dad not too long ago, and my conversation with my dad was, I think felons should get their gun rights restored, and he's like, "Whoa, what?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah. I mean, if a person goes to jail for a nonviolent crimes, we're not talking about murderers, right? Someone goes to jail because they um, didn't report their taxes correctly or something, they should be allowed to get their rights restored and be able to defend themselves. And there's some people that make a viable argument that if someone went to prison for manslaughter, that they should be able to get their rights restored as well. That's a discussion that I'm willing to have. But at the same time, I think that, yeah, I mean, if you've gone to jail and you've paid your debt to society, then you should be allowed to have your full rights restored.
I agree with that too. I agree with that. I don't like the fact that they can release you from jail and be like, "Oh, well, we're releasing you. Your debt to society is paid, but we're not going to give you everything back." So
Yeah,
you still pay for like the rest of your life,
exactly.
unless you pay a lot of money to get your rights restored through a court system where you have to do a little song and dance for a judge, and you have to.
Mhm.
Like, I've been a part of that. I mean, not for my rights, but for someone else's. Somebody made a stupid mistake when they were 18 years old, and they were like in their 40s.
Mhm.
No other crime since they were 18 years old, and the judge made them call character witnesses up before they got their firearms rights back, and it wasn't even a violent crime. They got caught with drugs while they were in high school, where they're 18-year-old senior.
Yeah, and it's and I know that I know of people who have gone into the military that have had to get waivers
Oh yeah,
from the military because they got busted with a beer in their hand at 17. I'm just like, come on.
man, it doesn't
I,
make any sense.
those are apple and oranges comparison, but some of this stuff is the point is some of this stuff is absolutely ridiculous. So Clover Tech was asking from a scale to 1 to 10
Yeah, I was about to hit that up next.
how much does he hate SHOT Show didn't happen this year. And I was actually very happy that SHOT Show didn't happen this year, because my bank account wouldn't have been able to make it through.
Well, here's the thing. I have a nice hotel at the Venetian and everything. I was looking forward to it. And then my wife was deployed. So she was deployed for a few months. Right before a few months before. So I was like, crap, I can't get a SHOT Show. So it's so sad. I had to like tell her, I had to tell my editor, hey, I can't go or anything
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
And I was about on the verge of tears. And then when it got canceled, a little smile, I shouldn't be saying this, a little smile grew across my face.
Well, a lot of people. So I had a feeling way back in October of 2020 that it was going to be canceled. So
Yeah, so did
when
I.
all the
It's
emails
so
started
funny.
coming out saying, "Hey, make sure you sign up for your press credentials and stuff like that," I'm like, "Nah, I'm not even going to do it." And then November they came out and said, "Yeah, we're not doing it." But there's a lot of people that think that you go to SHOT Show, it's just a big party. You're in Vegas, you got all the after parties, you're just walking around looking at stuff. And for people like myself, Ghost Tactical, Clover Tech, these guys who are kind of one-man shows, we're hustling the entire time. I get up every day at 6 o'clock. I'm up at 6 o'clock. I'm in the media room by 7 as soon as it opens, so that I can finish up any type of editing that I need to do on a video, so I can have it uploaded and aired immediately, as quickly as I possibly can. So, and then once I get done with that, show starts. What is it? 9? Is that when the doors open?
Yeah.
Yeah. So from 9 until it closes, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever it is, I'm going from interview to interview to interview to interview, setting up my camera, getting the sound all right, doing the interview, breaking everything down, racing to the next one, getting all this content. And then I go back to my hotel room and spend 2-3 hours, pulling all this stuff together. And then about that point, it's probably 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. Then I'm starting to get text from my friends, from other YouTube creators that are like, hey, we're meeting at the Circle Bar, or hey, let's go grab something to eat, or something like that. So then that takes you to, midnight, trying to make new connections, mingle with your friends, because it's kind of like a family reunion. And then the next day starts all over again, 6 a.m.,
Yeah.
So I'm exhausted by the time SHOT Show is over.
Yeah, my SHOT Show begins at like 7 a.m. where we have like a writer's breakfast at where I get with the other writers that are for MLN, and then I hit the floor, go from beginning to close, and in between I have like a meeting schedule all the way up, and in between everything I'm writing. I get back to the room, I write, I eat while I'm writing, then I have to go cover some event going on that night, and then I get back and I have to write about that. It's not it's work.
Yeah, it
People
is
think
work.
it's a big party, like, oh yeah, but it's not.
Yeah, I
So
mean, it sets me up. If I've done SHOT Show right, it sets me up for the rest of the year, because I've made contacts, I've made connections, I've fostered connections that I've already had to, brainstorm and come up with content throughout the rest of the year. So, it pays off dividends on more than one aspect.
yeah,
So,
it does. It does. GOA was at a SHOT Show last year, I think, for the first year.
yeah, I think I
And
saw them walking around.
yeah, Haley and Matt and all them, and they made a lot of contact for their industry partner program, which is kind of cool.
Hmm.
I don't know if you heard or not, but it looks like there might be a big event held by a certain creator in May that was supposed to be held in the fall, but it was canceled.
Oh, I just saw it today. Yeah.
Are you going?
Possibly. It'll be tentative because of my family situation right now. I've got to figure out how to make that happen. my comment to them was, does it rain a lot at that time of year?
Yeah, I heard that.
Because it's been rained out. There's been, I think, out of the last like 3 or 5 years, it's rained pretty heavily, like majority of the time. So out of the last 5 years, I think they've had like really bad rains, 3 of it. So
Yeah, I think I was gonna go this year. The year before, there was like scheduling conflicts, so I was
mhm.
out in Vegas covering something.
Yeah.
Uh, so this year in May, I hope that there's no scheduling conflict.
Mhm. I mean, I would, if I can make it happen, I'll definitely be there. I wasn't able to go in 2019 because it was on my daughter's birthday weekend, so there's no way I was going to make it. And then, of course, last year they had to cancel it. I think, didn't they cancel it last year?
Last year it was canceled. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, and then 2019 it was rainy. because that was the first time that they had it at their new range, the new place. So if I'm able to make it happen, I'm going to make it happen. But because it's always a good time. It's always a good time to hang with them.
Yeah, I like going to events. I don't go to as many as I could or should, but like I miss my family too much. I know that sounds
Sure.
kind of cray to say. Oh, you're missing shooting machine guns. Miss my family. Did you go to the Gundies?
I did not. I didn't get a chance to make it down. Again, I had a scheduling conflict as well, which I'm really kicking myself. I didn't get to go down there because there were a number of guys that I wanted to see since I had missed since we were missing SHOT Show this year. I didn't get a chance to hang out with my friends from Tundra Tactical and seeing Brandon Herrera and Kentucky Ballistics and all of those guys. I missed out on seeing these guys that I'm used to seeing and high fiving and buying them a drink or whatever the case may be. So I did get it. I didn't get a chance to do that, but I am looking at doing a lot of collaboration work. So Brandon Herrera just moved to Texas, so that's just like, I think he's 10 hours away from me, which is not a long drive for me. So I'm working on seeing what we can do to collaborate. I just sent a text message about heading out to the East Coast and possibly collaborating with the team that's going to put together that shoot in May. So maybe seeing if I can get onto their, get into some of their videos. Obviously working with Chris Costa here next month. Baratus is doing some training in May that I'm going to collaborate with. So yeah, some of the travel that I'm going to do is not to a lot of these really cool shoots. It's going to be a lot more collaborative work for me. So, which I'll be excited to do.
Yeah, I think Ghost Tactical out there. He is he's kind of sketchy, man. To tell you the truth. I love him. I love the guy.
It's almost like he's a ghost.
Yeah. Nah, I love the guy. I know him.
Yeah, no,
I know his sheriff too. His sheriff has been on the show. Chris Brown.
oh,
He's a
okay.
great
Yeah.
guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
He Trey shoots with Chris Brown all the time. So building your channel. How are you planning to build your channel in the upcoming year? What's your goals?
Well, I am getting really close to 30,000 subscribers. I'm really hoping that I can get, my goal is to be at 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. How I'm going to do that, I'm not sure. A lot of that has to do with these collaborations that I'm doing with, these other YouTubers. One of the other things that I'm hoping will be a really great opportunity is just right over here. I'm looking at a box that has a whole bunch of parts in it, and I'm waiting for one last piece to come into my FFL. As soon as it arrives, then I'll be taking a trip out to Phoenix to work with Jim Fuller on building my first 74. So I'm excited about that. I think that will be a great experience to not only learn how the AK platform is built and how it runs, but also to see the master and work. So that's going to be a great collaboration as well. So that's the biggest piece that I'm going to try to work on is increasing my content, making it look better, making it more entertaining for people, and then looking to collaborate with a few more people as well.
Yeah, Jim Fuller is an awesome guy. He is like the master of AK
Yeah.
building. He was with Rifle Dynamics,
Correct.
and before he left, Mark, now the guy named Mark owns Rifle Dynamics, which is a
Mm-hmm.
cool guy because he let me shoot his MP44, which was a nice, like put a lot of rounds to that gun. But yeah, he's a cool guy too. But Jim Fuller was one of the guys that first revolutionized the American AK.
Correct.
He did stuff like really innovative stuff.
Mhm.
Like he was like the first guy to do a adjustable gas block on a AK, on an
Mhm.
American AK, which was amazing. And his work on his AKs are just they're masterpieces. They're works of art.
Yes. I mean, it is literally buying an Italian sports car because the the craftsmanship that is put into it, because the AK is not an AR. An AR, you can slap it together, and even if you use inferior parts, it's still going to work. But if with an AK, if you don't get the barrel pressed right, if you don't get the head spacing right, if the rivets are wrong, it's going to beat itself to death. And to be able to see how these are handcrafted, to be masterpieces is that's going to be the interesting part.
Yeah, I really don't trust Century AKs. There are a few good companies out there, and the American AK is actually growing now, man.
Yeah.
Like Lee Armory. Lee Armory makes an affordable American-made AK. I'm not sure if you've ever met those guys at Lee Armory or worked with them at all.
Not yet. Not yet.
Their AKs are affordable, and they are like really good quality AKs for an American AK. And then
Hmm.
you have like Rifle Dynamics, of course, which
Yep.
isn't a whole nother level. I mean, they're like $4,000. And Jim Fuller, isn't he working with a different company now? Or
So he started his own
yeah,
company called Fuller Phoenix,
yeah,
and it's based out of Phoenix, Arizona. And Fuller Phoenix has been he's teamed up. My understanding, he's teamed up with Haley Strategic, so so he's with the Haley guys that
yeah.
has really kind of helped build him. And when it comes to the American AK, companies like Paul Mendelsohn Armory has done well as well.
Oh
Now,
yeah, oh yeah.
they're not. I'm not going to say that they're going to be anything comparable to Rifle Dynamics, but between
That's price points totally different.
exactly,
You're talking about like a $4,000 AK than a several $100 AK. There's a
exactly.
huge difference.
So I can take one of the PSA, AK-103s that they just started producing, and I can go to the range and spend all day and not have to worry about it. They've got forged components, so you don't have to worry about running
You,
into
you
issues
mean
with them blowing up.
you mean it's not like a RAS 47?
No, not at all, or an IO or any.
Oh yeah.
So, but it's interesting. Two things. Number one is the amount of
Riley. Somebody's bringing up Riley AKs. They're actually
oh
really
yeah,
good too.
Riley Defense. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
pretty decent
Well,
too. I think Robski from AKOU, he's doing a 5,000 round test on, I think it's a Riley Defense AK.
yeah, and there's something that Riley Defense, the Jim Fuller AK, his new companies, Rifle Dynamics, and also Lee Armory AK all have in common. They all come with X-Tech mags, and this is not a plug for X-Tech. I'm not being paid for this, but X-Tech, their mags are a little bit on the expensive side. Well, they
Mhm.
have cheaper mags, but their top end mags are on the expensive side.
Mhm.
But you can basically run them over with a tank and do whatever the hell you want with them. They're gonna run.
And see, and that's amazing. I've heard nothing but great things about X-Tech. I personally don't have any because, to be frankly honest with you, I'm kind of bougie, and I've gotten bit by the Bakelite bug, so all of my mags are Bakelites.
Oh, they have a fake light.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. But X-Tech I've heard great things about, and it's like I was saying earlier, it's extremely interesting to see how much popularity, almost like a cult following, the AK has had in the last 5-10 years. And the other aspect of it is, who would have ever thought that you could buy two ARs for the price of an AK right now? That's unheard of. I could literally buy two. I would have to probably put them together, but I could put together two ARs from Palmetto State Armory for about the same price as one of their AK-103 side folders.
Yeah,
So,
the times of getting SKSs for like $200
right.
or $100, that's over.
Well, shoot, so SKS, I bought an SKS in 2019, August of 2019. I was in El Paso, Texas, sitting in a hair salon waiting for my then wife to get her hair done. And or I take that back. It was my wife and my daughter at the time. Um, Now my ex-wife, but they were getting a pedicure, and I was sitting there waiting on them, and I just saw it in a scroll open to Classic Firearms. They had SKSs, and I ended up buying a hand select. What I'm not sure the grade levels, but it was one of the higher grade levels that's hand select by Classic Firearms, and it was $420. You know, so I was like, God, man,
When I
why didn't I buy an SKS in like 2000 when it was like $100?
when I had my gun store, we would get crates in of Mosin Nagants.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I would get the crates in is I would just sell the Mosin Nagants for like $75 because
Yeah,
I wanted the crate because my friend made the crate in the coffee tables. Then we sold the coffee tables.
those are cool. Yeah. Um, let's see. I was stationed at Fort Campbell from 2009 to 2013, and 2010 timeframe, the local gun shop there just outside of Fort Campbell had Mosin Nagants. They had a crate full of them, and it came with everything. The cleaning kits, the sling, the bayonet,
Yep.
all of it, right? And they wanted $98, and I'm like, man, I totally could get it. I should probably get one of these. I'm just like, but where am I going to put it? What am I going to use it for? I'm not a big fan of 7.62 by 54R cartridge. Why would I get it? And I never got it. Now I'm kicking myself.
Yeah, I used to have crates and crates of the Mosins. We sold them for $75 for like the regular ones, like $100 for the hex ones. That's with everything, the bayonet, all that good stuff, cleaning kit. Then we had the spam cans of the ammo for like I used to sell that for like $84.99.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Yeah.
it's like, dude, I wish I still had crates, like a whole warehouse full of freaking Mosins.
I got I was you're talking about spam cans. I lucked out and found a local guy who he was an older guy, farmer, ordered a spam can and accidentally ordered 545 by 39 instead of 7.62 by 39.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, I told my buddy who knew about it, I says, I'll buy it from him, cash in hand. And he's like, okay, well, how much you think? And I was like, I'll give him $360 for it. And he's like, hold on a second. Sent a text, return. If you can have $360 in 20 minutes, you can have it. It's like, yeah. Yep. And finding 545 by 39 for less than 36 cents a round right now is impossible.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. I just wish I used to have like thousands and thousands of rounds of it in my gun shop.
Well, I mean, it's what's so frustrating for me right now is I just got into reloading, and this is a whole nother rabbit hole that we can get into. But Clovertac and I were talking last night, and we talked probably for at least 30 minutes just on reloading. And I told him, I was like, I would love to get bigger into reloading, but I can't find primers. I can get bullets, I can get brass, I can get powder. I can't get primers to save my life. So, what do you do?
I see another comment. All the comments aren't coming through for some reason on StreamYard. Imagine that. Somebody's asking about what do you think about the AKs and 5.56. I don't like them.
I love them.
I don't like them. I'm a purist.
Sure, yeah, and that's perfectly fine. I have a really good friend who goes by the tagline Angel of Verdun on Instagram, and she is a huge proponent for 5.56 AKs, and I am too. I mean, the interesting thing is, say, you say that people's like, oh, well, I'm a purist, 545 by 39 or 762 by 39. It's like, well, okay, what about the Yugos and the Poles and the Eastern Bloc countries that switched over to 556 AKs in their own country? So therefore, technically, you could still be a purist. It's just the 556 cartridge that's been modified. That AK.
Yeah. Here. When I say I'm a purist, this is what I mean. I like original caliber guns.
Sure. Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
this is the caliber it was created for and it was changed, I'm not saying that I won't take it. I'm just saying I prefer that.
So if you were going to get a M240 machine gun, if the ATF gods said that you could have a M240 Bravo, would you get it in 7.62 or 6.5 Creedmoor? Because they're now 6.5 Creedmoor.
I honestly would probably get in 7.62.
Okay. All right. I just had to throw a curveball at you, but
I just like that. I mean, I have no problem with getting it, but I think if like, let's say you're gonna buy your first AK,
yeah,
or if you buy your first AR should be 5.56. Your first AK should be a 7.62. Now, if
yeah,
you want to get a 5.56 AK after you get a 7.62, I think I
sure.
do that. I like that, but it's just for first AR. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got just right over here. I'm looking at one of the cases that has my my Krinkhoff, and it's chambered in 5.56, and I absolutely love it. Now, getting magazines are extremely difficult for me. Yeah,
but my next question.
I would say, yeah,
3D print them.
I would say to VA Wolf, that's a great question. I would say if you are going to get a 5.56 AK, in my opinion, and this has been a debate that's gone back and forth, but in my opinion, I would say make sure that the front trunnion is a RPK bulged front trunnion.
That should be a fact.
It should be. It should be. There's some people that are like, well, no, because the AKM in 545 by 39, it doesn't have a bulge trunnion and it generates just as much pressure as the 223 5.56 cartridge. And I'm like, I don't think so. So it goes both ways. I'm of the firm belief that says, go ahead and put that little bit of extra weight on your rifle and have the peace of mind of having that extra rigidity in that.
Well, I could tell you the reason why I'm a purist like that.
Sure.
I have OCD.
Oh, sure.
My OCD says that's the first made. That's the first. You can't have the first event. If you have something first, it has to be the same kind. Honestly, that's what it is.
Yeah.
If I was to go out and buy a AK, if I didn't have an AK and I bought an AK in 5.56, my anxiety would kill me. I would end up having to like throw it away.
I totally understand that. It's the same thing with me when it comes to ARs. Is I will not buy an AR that is not chambered in 5.56. Now, hear me out. I have a 300 blackout AR, but if I'm buying an AR in 5.56, it will be chambered in 5.56. I refuse to purchase an AR chambered in 223. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't even get a chambering in 223 Wild. I won't even do that. It has to be chambered in 5.56. That's one of my little nuances about me.
All right. Well, we've been on for an hour, so I'm going to let you go. I just want to tell everyone you can follow me at crumpy.com and find all my stuff. Go ahead and you have the final word. I'm going to get out of here.
Hey, I would appreciate anybody who's listening to consider subscribing to my channel. I would really appreciate it. You can also
description.
Yep. Great. Thanks. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook and the Twitters if you want to do that. I'm also on Odyssey. If you guys watch your videos over on Odyssey instead of YouTube, I'm on there as well. I would really appreciate any and all supports. That would be awesome.
All right, guys. I will see you next week. We can have Amanda Chase, Kennedy for Virginia governor, and a few surprise guests.
Awesome.
I might have the biggest guest I've ever had, but I'm working on that.
Cool.
It's a celebrity.
Right on.
I'll be back. All right, Mark. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of fun. I
Yeah.
gotta call this guy back really quick
Sure.
before he gets out of there. At supposed to leave after the 6. So let me call him back. I'm trying to get something sent to me. Best Buy screwed me over, so I called the CEO of Best Buy. I found their number, cell phone number, and called them. So now Best Buy's jumping to get my problem fixed. So let me call this guy back.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, thanks.
All right.